Wonger, as Jamie calls me. And I actually answer to that name, which is embarrassing. First of all, I want to thank Jamie and Tom for inviting me to be a part of this very special day. It means a lot to me, and I couldn't be happier for the two of you. So I've had the pleasure of knowing Jamie for the last 15 years. We've shared so many memories together. I've truly had some of the best moments of my life with Jamie, and I couldn't ask for a better friend. She makes me laugh so hard and gives me advice whenever I need it, which is pretty often. And I like to say, if I were a lesbian, I would be trying to marry you today. Back in the fall of 1995. We were matched by the UCSD housing gods to be freshman year roommates together. Before we started school, we filled out one of those housing applications where you say how often you clean, how much do you study, what time do you go to sleep, etc., etc. Well, after the first few weeks of living with Jamie, I had no idea how on earth we had been matched up together. All I could figure out is that we both listed Mariah Carey as our favorite singer. And at the time, that seemed to be where the similarities ended. For example, I was quiet, conservative, and some would say uptight. Jamie was outgoing, a free spirit, and a jokester. I liked to stay up late studying, and Jamie needed her beauty sleep and wanted lights off by 11. I showered daily. Jamie barely showered during midterms and finals. But then when I would go to the cafeteria, boys would still be like, "Who's your hot roommate?" Anyway, I was a little obsessed about having clean sheets on my bed. I was a weirdo. So it's an understatement to say I was truly horrified when I saw Jamie cutting her toenails in bed at night. I thought she was the most disgusting person I'd ever met. And I thought it was pretty obvious. Somebody lied on her housing application. Well, after about 2 months living together, I started to really hit it off with Jamie. She always managed to make me squeal with laughter, and we learned we weren't as different as we originally thought. We both have an irreverent sense of humor, and we're both stereotypical, headstrong Aries. So somehow we just clicked. I remember I went home for Christmas break that first year, and I really missed Jamie. And I missed all of our fun times together. And I actually couldn't wait to go back to school. Well, sophomore year, we shared an on-campus apartment with our friends Addie and Lorraine. I remember Jamie seemed to survive that year on spaghetti, Kraft macaroni and cheese, and Rice Krispie treats that her dad would send her in care packages. She never seemed to do her dishes, and one of us inevitably ended up doing her dishes for her. Once, Lorraine, Addie, and I just decided we have to make a pact. We're not going to do this for her anymore. We're not going to wash her dishes, no matter how much it hurts us not to touch them. So a pot of mac and cheese went untouched in the sink for weeks and weeks. That pot sat in the kitchen sink so long that creepy crawly things started living in there. We finally told Jamie she had to clean up her act because we couldn't take it anymore. And I remember she felt really bad, and that pot ended up in the dumpster. college, Jamie joined the Army. She was shipped off to Korea for a few years. And I like to tell her she's now more Asian than I am. When she got out of the Army, Jamie told me she was moving back to San Diego, and I couldn't be more thrilled. We started to hang out again, and Jamie's fun-loving personality was exactly the same, but she was now like a new and improved version of herself. I like to say that the Army beat all the messiness out of Jamie, because now she's 100 times cleaner than she was in college. And Jamie also became a really good cook in Korea. Now she cooks up a storm and tries to fatten up everyone with her desserts. And the best part about it, now she actually washes her dishes while she cooks. Anyway, it's pretty amazing how far she's come. In the fall of 2006, Jamie and I took a trip to Peru together. Jamie is a great travel partner, as probably half this room knows. She doesn't complain, she loves adventure, and she's patient with whiners like myself. And as some of you might know, Jamie wants pictures of everything. Everything. And at the time I thought she was insane. But looking back now at our 2,000 plus pictures, I realized there was a method to her madness. Now it's impossible for me to forget all the crazy memories we had on that trip. Like the time a boy that worked at our hotel broke into our room so he could leave Jamie a love letter on our bed. And yes, we actually have a picture of that. Jamie later told the boy that she and I were on our honeymoon. And we had gotten married a month before. And she broke his little Peruvian heart into a million pieces. While we were in Peru, we stayed for several days in an Amazonian jungle lodge. One night, the local shaman did a ritualistic ceremony on us. We sat in the dark, drank some weird shaman juice. He blew smoke in our faces, and we asked him to tell us our fortunes. He asked me what my #1 question was. And I said, will I get married and have kids? Well, there was a lot of whispering going on between the shaman and our translator. He finally told me, yes, you will be married and have kids, but not for a very, 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 very long time. I looked at Jamie and said, wow, that's a lot of berries. Well, ever the optimist, Jamie said, Wonger, don't worry. Here in the jungle, they get married when they're about 13. So a long time to them is like 4 years. So the shaman asked Jamie if she had a question. She said, same thing. Am I going to get married someday? Well, there was more whispering going on between the shaman and our translator. Finally, he broke the news. The shaman says, you will not get married, ever. And to be honest, it wasn't funny at the time. But Jamie took it in stride and was like, whatever, I don't need a man. Well, it's obvious today that the shaman's prediction was wrong. And I want to thank Tom for breaking his prediction, because that means I might still have a chance. Yes. Well, just 4 months after our trip, Jamie and Tom had their first date in January of 2007. Tom, I knew things were off to a good start when Jamie emailed me the day after your first date that you were, I quote, pretty smoking hot. So seriously though, thank you for treating Jamie with so much kindness. You make her smile bigger, you make her eyes twinkle, and you give her stability and support. And you balance out her craziness with your level-headedness. I think you match her sense of adventure, and I think you are so lucky that Jamie picked you to be her best friend forever. So please raise your glasses to Tom and Jamie. Best wishes for a lifetime of laughter, fattening desserts, and great adventures together. Congratulations!